Welcome, Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign to September 2022. We are going to talk today about what's happening in the sky for you. And it's going to be important to listen in because your ruler, Mercury, is up to some really interesting business as he's going to be doing a retrograde dance throughout the signs of Libra and Virgo. And he will be doing a Kazimi in the heart of the sun. And he will be meeting it with Venus for a special touch of magic in the Virgo sky. So you want to hear about that because it's really important for your life. Since Gemini, you are ruled by Mercury. I'll cover other things this month as well. Before we get going, a couple of things. If you're new to my channel, my name is Lori Lothian. I am a Hellenistic whole sign tropical zodiac astrologer. I use stars and asteroids and a little Babylonian in there as well. And I also am somebody who encourages you to try casting your chart in whole sign houses because you'll see your sky in a different light. It is the ancient tradition of house signs, and you'll see a link in my description box below. And it's important to find your rising sign and how to do that. A mini 5-minute tutorial using free online software that you can follow along with is in my description box below. So cast your chart, find your rising sign, and see your chart in whole sign houses. Why not? All right, so let's get going. Oh, and by the way, I'm teaching a beginner's astrology class, my Sky Reader 2.0. I've done this before. It's 8 weeks long, starts in October, November. It's live with me, cap with students. It's called Sky Reader, Be Your Own Astrologer, Time Your Best Life. If you are a Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising, curious about learning astrology, so you can read your chart, read your family's charts, read your friends' charts, and even make some predictions, then come on, jump in my class. I'd love to have you. There is a wait list to sign up to get early bird notice for a discount on signing up if you're on the wait list, and early birds to get in. I have, I think, 32 people signed up on the wait list. So I'm going to cap the course, probably no more than 40 or 50 people. So if you want to be in my class, check it out. Get on the wait list. Description link, sign up, wait list below. All right, let's get talking about you. So Gemini people, yeah. So what's going on here? First of all, Mercury, the Lord of the sign, is going to be making some very interesting statements for you. I'm going to maybe keep this kind of a little bit linear for you today. It's a very busy month in terms of the Lord of your sign. Very early on, September 1st and 2nd, he's going to oppose in the natal sky. He's going to make an opposition to Jupiter. And, you know, at the very same time, Mars is in a sextile to Jupiter, and that creates what's called a wedge in the sky. And it's interesting that he's participating, right? So this is a Mercury moving forward through the sign. He's not retrograde yet, through the sign, around 6 degrees through the sign of Libra. And he is looking across at Jupiter in Aries, who's retrograding, and they're having a gnarly eye to eye, basically a colon opposition. There could be some news from a higher up, an authority figure or something like that, breaking in your sky, breaking news during this time. Now, the other part of the sky, though, the story that matters here is that Mercury's in Libra, right? So he's moving through your 5th house. This is where your children are. This is where your lover is. And this is where your independent business is, as well as money luck. And Jupiter in your 11th house is friendships and having a social group. So you could be having a gnarly conversation with somebody of authority in a larger social setting, like your yoga teacher, your astrology teacher, the head leader of your Cub Scouts group or something. I don't know. And there is a difficult, gnarly early month conversation around the September 1st and 2nd. But coinciding with it is a Mars sextiling Jupiter, which kind of softens the whole deal. And Mars is sextiling from Gemini, which happens to be for you, your sign. Mars is your ally. Mars has got your back, and he's loving up that Jupiter in the 11th. So honestly, it's a bit of a mashup. It can actually maybe look like a windfall because Jupiter is in the pennies from heaven house. Mercury is in the money luck house, and Mars is making action happen. So yeah, maybe buy a lottery ticket. Jupiter oppositions don't always have bad outcomes. Sometimes they're just shockingly good energy. You know, and don't forget, you do have Mars moving through your sign from August the 20th until next March of 2023. So you are gaming on, man. You are ambitious, directed, focused, passionate, purposeful, moving forward, cutting out the dead wood of your being. And yeah, you're on your very rare time for you. September 5th to the 11th, nothing's happening in the sky. It's snooze time. The sky is really quiet. you may as well just take a chill pill and do things that you want to do. You're not being tossed about by the grabbers, which is what the planets are called in India, the grahas, the grabbers. You're kind of milling about doing your own thing. Everyone is actually. And then we're going to encounter Venus, okay, moving into Virgo. Now, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, right? And so this is a part of the sky that's collectively or energetically a part of your story. Mercury rules your fourth house. Mercury is the sign of Virgo for all Gemini rising, okay, and sun and moon by derivative. So Venus is beautifying your home. Venus is putting love in the home. Venus is looking at the details of your home, maybe repainting your home, maybe adding new art to your home. And she is going to be going through Virgo from September 5th to the 29th. And this is important for you because you are very attached to your Virgo part of the sky. And there's my Virgo daughter texting me in the middle of my recording. Okay, I'm not even going to tell you. I forgot to turn off my dingers. Oh, okay. And give me a sec. I'm having a hot flash. Whew. Let me pause the recording. And with Venus in your fourth house, you could even have a female come to stay with you and visit, or, some very positive developments with females in your home. Now, there is going to be a big full moon on the 17th on the 10th of September at 17 degrees of Pisces, and it will be conjunct Neptune, the god of illusion, delusion, fantasy, imagination, film, filmography, video, photography, many different things, high art, music. This is a career spot in your sky, Gemini. This is your 10th house, which is Piscean in whole sign houses. And there's a full moon that's fruiting, a fruitfulness, a blossoming, a completion, even a harvesting from seeds you planted in this house way back in March when we had a new moon there around the 2nd of March at 2 weeks. What were you up to in this part of your sky that represents your visible career, your purpose, what your ambitions and successes are in the world? Usually it's what you do for your living. And, there's a big energy going on up here with that Neptune. This could be very good. Like if you're into video and videography and filming yourself, like TikTok and YouTube, this could be a very positive development regarding some burst of acclaim or recognition about what you're up to. And if you're in mystical fields or artistic fields, this is really good for you as well. Now, at the same time, Mars in the house of you is squaring that. And so the question would be, are you feeling, energetically that this is something that is, necessarily what you want? Mars square is like, Mars is on Aldebaran. You'll be sitting around 11 degrees of the sign of Gemini. Aldebaran is a warrior star. It has to do with Archangel Michael and his fiery sword. So you may be fighting for something that you really want in your career and really pushing for it September 10th. You might have a sword up, and you may also really want to lean into how, like, Mars and Neptune are spiritual warrior energy, right? How are you going to fight the good fight for something you dream or believe in your purpose and career path? And that's a story that can last 2 weeks, right? The moon is on the 10th of September, but the influence lasts 2 weeks. So keep that in mind already. But you're the one holding the warrior sword, Aldebaran, Archangel Michael energy around you. Yeah, you. So it's good for writing, by the way. This is a star of communication. So you may be engaging around September 10th and writing something that you really need to do, for like a video script or something to do with, your career path that requires you to write something. And it may take you up to 2 weeks to finish that. Now, you also will experience your Lord, Gemini people, your Lord is Mercury, stationing to retrograde September 10th to October 2nd. Now, that's a big deal because he only does it three or so times a year. And this is your time to really groove with the synchronicity, the magic of that retrograde. The stationary retrograde point is 8 degrees Libra on September 10th. And your Libra quarter of your sky is your in creativity, your independent business, your entrepreneurship, your children, and your romance. Now, this can be, if you're in a romance, if you have a romantic partner, a sexual partner of any kind, and this is a retrograde here, the retrogradation will last till about the 23rd of September in this sign, then it slips into your fourth house. This may be going back over old ground with a lover. This could be going to talk about, to discuss terms of the relationship. in some way from September 10th already. Leisure travel is the 5th house. Maybe a lover is going to travel to visit you as Mercury retrogrades here between September 10th and the 23rd, for example. Your children, information and news and developments with your children, if you have them, are also going to be occurring with this retrograde happening here in the 5th house of children. And if you're into inspiration, muse, and you want to write something, you go back and write and fix up something you've already started to write as Mercury retrogrades here until this 23rd. And then he'll slide retrograde into your 4th house of home and real estate. Now, this is you maybe renegotiating your lease, renegotiating your mortgage, renegotiating something to do with where you live. And maybe having discussions with somebody about where you want to live, maybe even with your lover, or discussing with your children where they want to live because they're going to move out, that kind of thing. Mercury retrogrades in his strength though, right? September 23rd or so until the until October 2nd. And then he bounces forward October 2nd in great strength. So what could this really be about? It may be that you're going to make some decisions to sign some agreements regarding your home and where you live. These can be verbal agreements as well, because Mercury does rule agreements that we make verbally. So it doesn't have to be that you are legally getting a lawyer involved, but you may make a verbal agreement. A lot of you may make a verbal agreement around the idea of where you want to live. And I don't know if that's with a landlord or with a friend or with a lover or somehow involving your children. All of those are possible. Okay, so then let's keep moving forward. And let's keep going into the next story. So the next story is that there's a happy, sweet, electrifying, positive development where the sun in Virgo, yes, the sign that belongs to your Lord Mercury, trining Uranus, the god of surprises, in the house of Taurus. And Taurus in your sky, that earthy place in the sky, is very quiet. It's a backroom deals, the secret negotiations, the dreams at night. You know, it's like foreign shores and foreign lands as well. So a sudden opportunity to travel to a foreign land, a sudden development regarding your real estate from backroom negotiations. It's surprising, but really positive. And it feels really good. Or some sudden opportunity financially. You can get money in the 12th house that opens up a positive direction for your home and where you want to be living and that kind of thing. So keep that in mind. That is happening on September 11th and September 12th. And then later on, that same energy is reactivated again by Venus when she will trine Uranus in your 12th house. And that Venus trine is just as positive and even so it can bring some kind of financial goodness to you regarding the themes of home and money, or love in the home, or beauty in the home, and a sudden development. Now, it could also be a chance to travel to foreign land from your home. But it really is an interesting time because Venus takes further what started already on the 11th and 12th with the sun and adds to it on the 19th and 20th of September. Those are probably interconnected timeframes and interconnected events. Alrighty, looking at my chart, what else do I want to tell you about? Well, we need to know that Mercury goes into the heart of the sun called Kazimi, and he'll be doing that Kazimi because he's your Lord. It's important to you. He'll be going into that heart of the sun around the 23rd of the month. And a Kazimi is when the Mercury is within like 16, 17 minutes of being directly aligned with the sun from our view on Earth. It's magical. It allows you to download and get inspirations around the 23rd of the month when this happens from Libra, from the house of the muse. So if you're artistic, creative Gemini, and this is golden muse inspiration that day on the 23rd to download ahas and ideas, depends on where you live. It could be the 22nd, 23rd, depending on your location. And you could also find that you're deeply inspired by one of your children or by your lover or your love partner as well. You might come down up with an entrepreneurial idea or a really great way to make some money. There's some action from Cupido in Capricorn, and that brings potential, some ideas that bring some wealth and help you generate greater money. And there's also a connection from Jupiter retrograding through Aries that also can activate for you some lucky opportunities through the aha, the download, the synchronicity, or the insight you may have, Geminis, around that time of the 23rd, the Kazimi of Mercury in the heart of the sun at 0 degrees of Libra. Of course, if you're a Gemini sun, moon, or rising in the first 5 degrees or so of the sign of Gemini, it's even more potent for you. Venus will square Mars on the 16th and 17th of September. This is Mars in Gemini, your sign, right? And you're carrying the sword, you're being ambitious, you're making choices, and all of a sudden you're gnarly squaring Venus, the goddess of love and money, in the house of you. Now, you could be arguing with somebody in your house, taking somebody in your home to task who's a female. You could be hyper focused on making a financial decision regarding your home and really being quite on it with a sword, being really like clear and having clear choices, and you're holding the upper hand here. Like, I can make all kinds of examples. A roommate is a real, biatch, because it's Venus as a female, and you tell that person to like cease and desist, or you make a very strong decision around money regarding your home, and you're really clear about what you want, because I'm going to cut away from this expensive location or something like that. So keep that in mind. That's happening September 16th and 17th. And at the same days, around that same time, the sun is in opposition to Neptune. So the sun is in Virgo, your 4th house. Yeah, there's a lot going on in your 4th house, right? I mean, this month, you'll have the sun there, Venus, Mercury, a lot of attention to your home. And all of a sudden that sun is looking up at Neptune in the career space, and they're having a very intense oppositional conversation. You might be able to see really clearly something regarding where you live in relationship to your ideal career path, and how those two may be at odds with each other. And you'll need to like secure a clear path regarding purpose and activity you do in your home as it pertains to your career ambitions and reputations. And a very practical note for me, for example, if this was my chart, it'd be like, oh, I want to do my YouTube videos and I got a house guest and I can't get any recordings done. And that would be an example for what it would look like for me. So September 19th to the 20th, there's that tension with Venus in the house of the home. At the end of the month, Mercury will conjunct Venus. Yes, your Lord will conjunct Venus. This is happening in Virgo. Yes, in your home at 27 degrees of Virgo. Mercury and Venus together. Money and marketing, news and money, money and news, love and information, and trining power, Pluto in Capricorn. Certainly, this is excellent if you are a Gemini trying to get a mortgage, trying to secure a loan, trying to get some equity financing, trying to secure your part of the legacy wealth from the inheritance that was owed you, trying to open up a channel to the other dimensions so that you can be in touch with the profound forces of the 8th house. Really good energy here for you. It's very positive financially. It's happening on September 26th. Okay. And so there's this popping here around home and money, getting a better lease, ditching the old lease, really financially, the positive energy regarding your home and things you're doing in your home, and your money that you don't earn on a daily basis. So a chunk of money can come to you from this September 26th. Yay. Mercury conjunct Venus, trine Pluto. And finally, but not last, we finished strong. The whole world does. Let's say September 23rd to the end of the month, we have a Mars trine Saturn energy. Mars is you, action hero. You're doing the thing. You know what you want. You're on your game because Mars is in your 1st house, right? And he's trining Pluto. I mean, Saturn in the 9th. For some of you Geminis, it's going to be a legal win. And for some of you Geminis, it's going to be a time of securing details about a visa, a foreign trip, a book contract, an editor, an agent. Things are going your way here. Academic environment is going really well. You get into your ideal school. Your professor loves you. Your professor tells you you're the best thing since sliced bread. Saturn up here in the 9th house is going to be getting a determined action from Mars. You can resolve a legal situation. You can move forward on that visa. You can get yourself into that trip and planning and make it happen. Okay, all of these things are really picking up speed at the end of the month, the last 3rd of September, last 23rd to the end of the month. Okay, so hopefully that's useful for you, Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising. By the way, I have to tell you guys, I had a massive healing of my tailbone. I have a SI joint dysfunction with piriformis syndrome, and it was really plaguing me for like 6 weeks, and I could hardly move or walk. And my sister Nancy, Healing with Nancy Lynn, my biological sister, does this Reiki thing, and I didn't think it would work, but it did. So I'm like a miracle heal girl. If you want to have a healing with her, she does remote healings, and her Healing with Nancy Lynn is her website. She's really good, and she has pendulums and diagnoses what's going on with your energy and tells you about it. And it's done remotely. And she has a sale called the Back to School sale in September. I think it's 20% off all of her Reiki healings and pendulum healings. So check her out below. I love promoting my family. All right. Thanks, Gemini, for listening. Take care. Ciao, ciao. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and hit my bell for notifications. I had a terrible thought I wasn't recording, but I am.